Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis with Elliott Wave Theory for Bitcoin. Let's jump right into the charts. So starting here on a bit higher time frame on 4 hour this time and checking out the possibilities. So we had a few different ideas. Let's start with this one. The ABC looks decent, 1.32 extension here on the lows of June. Again, this is comparing the wave A to wave C here with the extension. This looks decent. If we are comparing it to the other idea where we have this as a 1, 2, 3, both these have 5-way structures in these, so that is fine. Again, third way generally goes well beyond this extension here that we have on logarithmic scale on 1.382 and arithmetic 0.854. Don't like it as wave 3 that much, but again, that is still possible. Then from there, we had a few different ideas. I was introducing this count previously where we had, let's go 4 hour, should be doing fine. I was introducing this count where we had this as a wave 1. Unfortunately, we can't have a expanded flats or any kind of flats in diagonals. That's a rule, especially mentioned on some of the resources that I follow, so I don't really consider this possible anymore. Also, the fact that we had a 5-way structure here means that again this is a leading diagonal and not a ending diagonal. Even if this was not a invalidating thing here, we would have some kind of zigzag here. This would not be the end of something, so we would have to again line it up with a wave 1. Now we are still taking out some of these things that are making it invalid. For example, those two, and instead of this being a wave 2, or this being actually wave 3, we would have this instead as a wave 1 of smaller degree. So we would have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. That again is very, very bearish of a count. While that is possible, it is not that likely, but we're still going to be keeping track on that. So we don't need to be removing this count completely as of yet. What else did we have was this count where we had an A, B, and C into A wave here, 3-way pullback. The extension targets that we had here are hit already, but again, the thing is that we had this as a 3-way structure coming down for that wave W. The structure here looks very impulsive, either to these lows or even these lows. So what we would be expecting is a 3-way pullback and then another similar structure to this here coming downwards. If we go beyond the 14.9k area, then this is no longer valid because again we get below the 1.618 retracement of this A wave and it doesn't have the good look anymore. Also at that point we would be extending this wave W beyond the 1.618 of that extension pivoted from this X. So again that would make it less likely, and both those are lining up at the very same area around 14.9k. So that is the area where we're going to be looking at this to be invalidated at. Other counts, higher time frame, of course, having this as a WXYXZ, very possible, and then we would be looking for some kind of ABC here or some kind of double or triple correction. Elliott mentioned this count where that had this as a triangle here, which is making this valid, where we would have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, the proportions are off, but again, it is valid. Not really liking this count that much just due to the extensions generally again, but again it's valid, and that's that. Now this is some count that we haven't been talking about for quite some time, where we would have this as an ABC into an A wave, and this whole structure would be that A wave and then looking for B wave. Now B wave has the potential of ending here, and this is where that triangle that Elliott mentioned, especially this triangle here, comes into play. So in here we would have 5-way structure into A wave, ABC into B wave. Again, this is not a diagonal, so we can have that expanded flat here on that wave B, and then 5-way structure as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that would get us to the 1-to-1 extension here, exactly basically of this A wave for that C wave here. Again, we are on logarithmic scale here. On arithmetic scale, we don't get the 1-to-1 tag. So that has to be remembered here. and also, of course, the structure here is very far wave-ish, but again, we have to treat it as some kind of three-way structure if we want to be having this as the true count, basically. But yeah, this definitely looks decent here, with the logarithm scale especially. And yeah, we are very close to the 1.382 here as the wave B. So the expectation here would be a C wave. This is the only very much more of a bullish count where we would be going up very much higher. At this point, if we are looking at this count, we can take a look at some of the more bullish counts from the lows. I have a couple of different overlapped here, so don't mind everything here. Let me just move that out of the way. So the idea here was that instead of this C wave that I had it for this structure here, we would use this 5-way structure here as the potential 5-way start of our wave 1. Again, invalidation at these lows here, and on the very much more local scale, we do have this area of order block here at the 0.618 around the 16.1k area as a very nice support, and it would fit this count perfectly. At this point, we have had this potential 3-way move already done, so we could be looking for another 3-way pull up, and depending on how high this gets, we could be looking for this as an ABC or a WXY. We'll see if this is ever going to be got in play, but that is just one option as well. Some other local structures that we were looking at was, of course, this ABC structure here. But again, the issue is that this is very out of proportion, this structure here, in comparison to this. So that is not very much more of a primary for me anymore. I kind of do like the impulsive structure from the lows. Whether it's a C wave or not, I'm not currently really sure. There is, of course, a way to say that we would have this as a 1, 2. This would be 3, 4, and 5. Not really proportionate too well, and nor does the subway structure really work for it. We would have to have it something like this. It would be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5 in the subway structures. If we want to have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like so, or if we want to have this as a C wave that ends here, creating this A, B, and C here. For that, again, the idea would be that we would be creating this structure over here. Instead of at these tops, we would be having the tops here. So let me shift these guys over a bit and give you the count basically there. So this would be here, this would be wave 4, and we would have this as that triangle like we had on the impulsive count here. At this point, again, we would have to shift these over to get this good look. But again, we don't really have, on 1 hour at least, a good looking wave structure here that would give us any confidence what this is about. This here, I think it was just slightly smaller than this one. Let's take a closer look here. Yeah, it's slightly smaller than this one, which definitely or generally would mean that either this is a wave 4 or smaller degree than this one, which would mean that it would be a subwave of that 5 wave. So we would have something like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out of proportion, certainly, but again, time wise it would be smaller than this one, or it would be part of something else where we would have this structure, something like that, even something like that. So that is, of course, a very much of a possibility. So let's get rid of all these changes here and move these back over, and having the possibility again of having this as some kind of 3-way structure here. And as this definitely feels like a 3-way structure at the moment, I would be liking to call this as a WXY instead. So either this would be part of a smaller degree, where we would have this as 3-way structure, and then we would be looking for most likely this as 3-way structure, something like that. to give us more proportions. I'm not sure if I've lost one of the counts here. So I think I had maybe I've deleted it by accident. But the idea where we had the sub-wave count, where this would be wave or the first structure of three-wave structures, and then we would have this as a three-wave structure of smaller degree. So this would be W, X, and then looking for wave Y, right? So that would be basically the B wave of this structure before getting that third leg in, basically, right? So at that point we would have more symmetry between this first structure and the last than the current structures that we are currently playing with. Definitely there is a interesting long opportunity here. There is a potential that this is done. We hit the minimum extension and we are getting quite an impulsive structure from the lows. These are very often very hard to label these things because they are very overlapping, and generally they do offer some kind of contracting diagonal. It's very hard to label them and very hard to get any kind of good looking wave structure out of them, but there is definitely a possibility where this is done. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure here would be giving us that this would be the first structure of something. Then we would have a three-way structure here, again 3, 3, and then 3. Looks very proportionate. We took out the high on RSI, we took out the high on price. This looks like a perfect short entry, but again it was looks like it's 2 AM for me, so definitely not around on the computer at that time. So that wasn't a trade for me. And this one here was a good looking setup here for a potential wave 2 coming down. If we do, I'm interested in looking for a long setup. There is definitely again possibility where this is 5 waves, or this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup here on smaller time frame, where this would be a 1, 2, and then some kind of 1, 2, even 1, 2 here, and this would be 3, 4, 5 of some of those degrees. Not very clear which degrees they are. However, we have already taken out pretty much, or going back to the pretty much same area we had here at these highs. Once we take out these highs basically here, then we can confirm that this structure was done. But again, at that point, I feel like we are already at that third wave if we are getting some kind of impulsive structure from here. But yeah, this definitely looks pretty decent as is. 38.2 also hit off this move, basically off this move downwards. So there is definitely confluence there as well. But again, we did not hit the 1-to-1. On ETH, I think we did hit the 1-to-1 off this move here. Yeah, I wouldn't really look too much lower on ETH. There is definitely a possibility where we are taking one more low here and creating a bit better looking divergence here on Bitcoin. There is definitely divergence between these lows already here, but we'll see. There is nothing for sure either. I do like the idea of getting some kind of move up soon, and potentially this would be just the first structure of coming down. It is somewhat proportionate for these previous wave structures, so there is a chance that this whole structure here would be done, and we would be looking for very much more higher prices if this indeed was one of those more bullish setups that we were talking about previously. But I think that is going to do it for this video on Bitcoin. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below. And for now, I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you next video. Bye bye.